Hi, and welcome to Behind the Scenes with Axiom Medical. I'm your host, Jason McWhinney. A bit of a departure on this episode of Behind the Scenes. I am no longer in my home studio. I am actually in the sunny climes of Ontario, Canada, visiting my family. For those that don't know, I was born and raised in Ontario, lived all over Canada, and I'm spending the hottest portion of the Texas summer up here in Canada, and I'm very, very excited about that. I'm not going to lie. Just spent a few days at a cottage, and now I'm back refreshed and ready to go. And if you're just joining us, this is Behind the Scenes with Axiom Medical. It's generally a bi-weekly show where we go behind the scenes and talk to the people here at Axiom Medical that make the company click. We've just entered our second year, which is very exciting. And this week, I'd like to bring to you Amy Johnson. Amy, how are you?
Hello, I'm excellent. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. And let me say, I love the glasses.
Are those fabulous? These are actually vintage Ray-Bans. They're older than me, so I really love them.
Wow. So they're about maybe 19 years old, I'm
21.
guessing?
Yeah, they're
21
about
years old?
21 years
Okay.
old.
There we go. Fantastic. Well, Amy, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hello, I'm Amy Johnson, and I have been with Axiom Medical since October 18th of 2021. I was hired as a temporary for CREA, and I got hired full-time in February for call routing, which I absolutely love call routing because we get to do a little bit for almost every single department. So I've learned so much in the last few months. I've been trained for ICM. I have been trained for the how to monitor the website. I've done a couple little side projects for BD and for OHP. So I love it. I absolutely love getting to know a little bit of every department and just meeting more people every day.
That's great. And for the
Yeah.
people out there that aren't familiar with our acronyms, ICM is short for Injury Case Management. And, call routing sounds pretty, it sounds pretty easy to understand, but if you could sort of explain, what exactly that is.
So we're like it, we if someone if someone receives a call and they're unsure where to send it, they send it to us because we have to know basically what every department's directive is, and we know where to send someone to get the best help.
Another one of our many unsung heroes here in the
Right.
company that make it tick. So you said you've been here since October. Where were you prior to this? What were you doing?
So prior to this, honestly, I was a stay-at-home mom for 18 years and recently went through a divorce and had to figure out, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for a living? So previously, I was doing construction for 2 years, and I finally had to realize, I am a spring chicken, but I'm not. Right? I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not aging. But the possibility that I can't seriously work in this Texas heat for another however many years, and I really wanted more security for my family. I wanted insurance, 401k, and Axiom. Thank you, Axiom, for giving me a chance. Because honestly, not being in the industry or really any work experience for the last 18 years, they took a chance, and I really, really appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate that you're here and all the hard work that you put into it. I know it's can sometimes be tough. Speaking with people in customer service is kind of the number one thing when you talk with people, and we really appreciate all the hard work
Right.
that you put into it.
I've always done customer service. Before I was married and had kids, I was a restaurant manager and a bartender. And then before that, I had my own mobile dog grooming business. So I've always done customer service. I love people and I like being helpful, getting them where they need to go, do what they need to do. And so this worked out perfectly for me, honestly.
That's great.
Yeah.
As a former service industry worker as well on both sides, back of house, front of house, you definitely need your customer service skills working on full blast when you're in that position. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And parenting three kids was also extremely helpful because, you have to every situation is completely different. You have to handle it completely differently for every kid because every kid has a different personality. So I think it really helps you adapt to other people quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Parenting is an amazing skill for customer service, right?
I bet. Yeah. We were joking with my brother and I. Now we look like there's no mistaking that we're cut from the same cloth. But
Yeah.
growing up, we were both convinced that either of us was adopted because we were so opposite. My brother is just a complete 180 from me
Yeah,
on almost
it's the
everything.
truth. Every kid is completely different, and what works for one absolutely will not work for the other. Like, I have yet to find a scenario where it works for all three equally. Like, it just doesn't. That's not possible. So it's great to be able to adapt quickly to everybody's personality.
For sure, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again. So we talked about work a little bit. You've been here since October, but what is you mentioned that you're recently divorced. You've got 3 kids, but what does Amy do for fun on the weekends or evenings or any type
Okay,
of free time?
I my favorite thing in the world is the beach. I try to get to Galveston as often as I can. People make fun of our brown Galveston, but guess what, people? It's healthy. That's why it's brown. It's full of micronutrients for all the animals in there, right? It might
There
be
you go.
brown, but it's really good. But it's the same. You still get the same ions, you still get the same feel. It's the ocean. I don't care what color it is. So, yes, for anybody that's going to dog Galveston, I love to go there as often as possible. I love gardening. I love photography. Um, I have a pack of kids, a tribe of kids, a pack of dogs, and a colony of cats. So there's a lot going on here all the time. We got the three
That's
kids, the
great.
7 dogs, and 5 cats. So never a dull moment.
That's fantastic. I my wife lived in Galveston for a spell, and I, multiple times a year, I'll take my dogs down to Surfside in Freeport, just south of Galveston, on the other
Yeah,
side of the the other end of the island, and I love it down there. It's
I do
fantastic. It's
too.
great.
I love everything about Galveston. I really do. I think it's fantastic, and it's so close. I live in what you talking about, Willis, Texas, and it's only about an hour and a half for me. So it's perfect. It's
There
just
you
perfect.
go.
Yeah.
And what do you do in Galveston? Do you walk around town, or you just primarily go to the beach?
Honestly, mainly the beach. It's the same every time. So it's the beach, it's wings, and then it's Papa's Pizza on the I can't even think of the name now, on the main street.
On the
So
seawall
and
or
then I also
Strand?
super love to go to King's Confectionery.
Oh, the Kings, yes.
Oh my God, I love their ice cream. I love all their candies. Yeah.
And for people that are watching that have
LA
never been to
King's on the
Galveston,
Strand. I highly recommend it.
and for people that are watching that have never been to Galveston or not familiar with it, it's a town right on the Gulf, and it's an old town, similar to the age of New Orleans. So there's a lot of
Yes.
similar buildings. New Orleans has Bourbon Street. The Galveston has the Strand, which is very
Yes.
similar, same type of buildings. And there's a very old, like 100-plus-year-old confectionery store called the Kings there, where you can get saltwater taffy and ice cream and whatever you want. It's just fantastic.
Yeah. And that it has survived so many hurricanes and so many floods, and it just keeps ticking.
And COVID.
And COVID, yes, it completely survived COVID. Thank you.
The Strand, and most nights of the week, but especially on a Friday and Saturday, it's buzzing with people. And,
Oh,
and
it's
my wife and
packed.
I went down there in March 2020 on a Saturday, 8 o'clock, completely dead, no cars, nothing was opened. It was very surreal and bizarre. And thankfully, a lot of the businesses have been able to kind of bounce back from that.
Yes. Yeah, especially, once they lost all the cruise ships, right? I mean, I think that
Hmm.
was devastating for a while. So it's back in business now, folks. It is busy and bustling and good to go.
Get
So
down there.
thankful for that.
Now, you mentioned photography, any type of special photography, any type of, you know,
No, honestly, I just snapshots. I used to have a really great Sony, and with having the kids, one of the trips to the beach, I open up the back of the car on the seawall, and the camera rolls out and just shatters all over the street. So I've
oh
just been
no,
using my iPhone, but I take a ton of. I'll always say, if I wanted to start a photography business, it would just be called As Is Nature Photography, because I don't do any editing. I just love taking pictures of flowers and birds and bees and dragonflies, sunsets. Um, yeah, my Facebook page is just filled with basically photos of nature.
that's great. So if you like
Yeah.
photos of nature and you like Galveston, find Amy on Facebook and befriend
Yes.
her, and you'll get
Actually,
your
look,
fill.
this behind us here, this is a picture I took right there.
I was going to ask you if that was
Is
yours.
that
That's
gorgeous?
beautiful.
That was my
Yeah.
old yard. And that is just a fabulous old oak tree. And the
Wow.
sunlight was just perfect. I mean, that's like zero editing. I mean, that was actually how it was. So
That's
There
as
you go.
is.
That's as is. Yeah, I love that. As is nature photography. Look for me. I'm gonna have a book out soon. No, hopefully.
You never know. You never
You
know.
never know. You
I
never
went
know.
to the movies with my wife and my parents last night. We watched a movie called Where the Crawdads Sing, and I know it's fiction. I think it's fiction, but she spent her life drawing bugs in nature, and then ended up getting book deals, like
Oh, I
encyclopedic
love
book
that. Oh,
deals.
I love that
Yeah,
so much. I'm gonna have to look that up. That's amazing.
yeah. It's called Where the Crawdads Sing, and apparently it was a book prior to a movie, which most things are these days, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we got a comment here from Dom, who is he says, I haven't got the chance to work with Amy, but I'm sure you're doing an amazing job. You also seem like a great time, and I love your energy. The marketing team would love you.
Oh, thank you. I would love the marketing team. I had my assessment today, and I just found out I'm also going to be learning ACC and dispatch. So, I have my fingers everywhere except for really HR and billing. I've done a maybe a little bit with marketing with monitoring that website, but hello, marketing, I'm here, I'm available.
Hi, everyone says hi. Well, being able to add things to your tool belt is definitely a plus. That's for sure.
Oh, I love it. And what I really love about Axiom, honestly, is, externally, we're really helping people in, times of trauma and sickness, and everyone is so gentle and caring and thorough. But internally, I mean, the management and the team managers, everybody is so completely supportive and um, nurturing. I mean, if you make a mistake, it's a coaching moment. It's not a you're an idiot moment. And I absolutely love that. I think that Axiom really, everybody that I have met, honestly, genuinely cares about what they're doing and wants to see everybody succeed. And that's amazing. It's amazing for a big company to really have that love and appreciation of their employees. So go Axiom.
I think it goes a long way. I mean, those are the things that you can't necessarily measure, those, intangibles. But if you treat people with respect and you talk to them respectfully, you're going to get it back. And I think a
Oh,
lot of us,
absolutely.
especially that have someone like me who has a few years on under his belt, we've all worked for horrible people. We've all
Oh,
worked for
yes.
horrible companies, and
Yes.
you don't want to show up every day. And if you do show
No.
up, you just don't. You're not going to want to make things better because it's just not
Right.
going to get better. But with this, we can grow things here, and we can
Oh, and that's
grow our
exactly it.
people.
The growth. It's amazing, and that everybody 100% supports one another, and all questions are answered. It's just I have really been very impressed with the way Axiom conducts themselves. It's amazing.
That's good to hear. We tend to be, I don't think siloed is the right term, but we tend to, as the marketing team, we tend to stick together, and we have meetings with other departments. So to hear it, people in other departments that we generally don't talk to every day say that is refreshing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the truth.
So talk to us a little about your team. Who is, who do you report to? Who
So
are
I
some
report
people?
to Megan Openshaw, who is amazing. I think she knows everything about central services. And then my team leader is Keenan LeBron, and he is also fantastic. Yeah, everybody's just amazing. We have Andia is on our team, and Tanique. I don't work with Jaden very often, but I'm sure he's amazing, or he wouldn't be here. So yeah, I love teams. I love all the support. I love all the talking. We're all here to answer any questions. It's just you're never left hanging out here at all, and I
Right.
love that.
That's great. Well, shout out to Megan Upshaw on the team. Thanks for
Oh yeah, Megan.
everything
Way
you've
big
done.
shout out to Megan. Honestly, she's amazing at what she does.
Well, Sarah chimes in. Sarah's on the marketing team as well. She says, totally agree about the environment. Amy, thanks for being part of that supportive culture. So there you go.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Go Axiom, right?
Right. So what does the future hold for Amy? Obviously you want to stay here and
Oh
grow in
yeah.
the company, but I mean,
You know what? I'm open to anything and everything. So there we go.
there you go. So what
The
about,
future is bright,
there you go.
and I have transitioning glasses, so I'm ready.
That's fantastic. That's great. But any trips planned or anything like that? What do you got on the horizon? I know with three
You
kids.
know, no trips on the horizon yet. Last year we took a great trip to Glenwood Springs. I really want to get back there. The just swimming in those springs every day and being surrounded by the mountains was amazing. The kids and I would really love to take another cruise to Mexico. We did that a couple years ago, and oh my gosh, it was just so wonderful being surrounded by the ocean. I'm all about Mexico. I always say I'm going to retire there and sell pineapples on the side of the road. If you
All right.
sell, if you sell 20 pineapples and you got 20 bucks in your pocket, you're doing good for the day. So
Yeah.
y'all come find me in Mahahual, Mexico in about 25 years.
All right. We'll see you there.
I'm going to be with Axiom until then.
Where's you said Glenwood Springs and Mountains? I'm guessing that's in Colorado.
Colorado. Yeah, I was
Oh,
born and
beautiful.
raised in Colorado. Um, and it's so funny because I'm a sea level girl now. I've been here for 21 years and I honestly have a really hard time with the altitude now. I mean, I have to prepare myself a week in advance. You have to take your aspirin every day and just make sure you're drinking extra. Yeah, it's a harsh climate.
And yeah,
I prefer sea level.
yeah, sea level is nice. I've been living in level since 2004, and we did a trip to Estes Park. We stopped in Boulder along the way, and I got out of the car, and I could feel that elevation flu kind of hit me and get a little
Ah,
dizzy, and
it's
it was like,
awful.
whoa, yeah. We were driving up in Rocky Mountain National Park. With anybody who's ever driven up there can tell you the especially you get to the top, the roads are very skinny,
Oh,
and
it's a
there's
little
no guard.
scary. You're like, don't look
Yeah,
down.
there's no guardrails or anything like that.
None.
And here I am, this
None.
sea level guy driving and trying to maintain, but also, trying to drive at the same time. It was a bit hairy.
Yeah, I can remember. So when I was little, we would take trips to Utah, and I can't even remember the name of the pass, but same thing, straight sheer cliff down, and one of those big station wagons, all the kids jumping around. I would just lay on the floor and cry because I was sure we were going to die.
Breathtaking views up there.
Oh, gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Yes.
What's your favorite part of Colorado?
Honestly, Glenwood. I love everything about Glenwood. I love the valley. I love the people, the cute little shops. And honestly, those hot springs are just, I could swim in those every single day.
Hot springs are amazing.
Oh, they are.
I used to live in Banff, Alberta, and that's in the Rockies, and there were essentially three hot springs there, and one was the upper hot springs that they turned into a pool. One was the lower hot springs that basically anybody could go to, and then there was a sort of a hidden middle springs that not a lot of people knew about, and we would always sneak off into there.
Yeah, thank you, Mother Nature, because it just makes you feel amazing as soon as you get out of those waters.
For sure. And some of the springs that I've been to are just essentially like little pools, but the
Yeah.
ones in Banff are caves. So you have to go into the cave and kind of hang out in
Oh,
the
that
cave.
would be incredible.
Yeah. And everyone leaves like, you bring a candle just in case there aren't any candles there. And everyone's got like a little spot where they'll put like, matches in a Ziploc baggie so you can light the candles. It's very
Oh,
much a
I love
community thing.
that.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm gonna have to put that on my bucket list.
There you go. I don't know if it's still there. That was a few, well, it's still there. I don't know if that type of community thing is still
Oh, I was
back
just
in.
gonna say yeah, there's probably somebody there actually with a lighter lighting stuff for you now, right? Like
Right, yeah. So we're getting kind of close here to the end. I've been loving talking to you.
Well,
Anything
thank you
you
so
want to
much for having me. I really appreciate it. This was a lot of fun.
anything you want to say to anybody out there? Anything you want to say to your team? Any words of wisdom you want to say to anyone that might be looking to join us here at Axiom? Anything you want
Listen,
to say?
if you're looking to join an amazing team with a ton of support, Axiom is where it's at. And I'm really excited for this whole new tempo line to be released to the world, because mental health is so important, people. It's important. And it's not just about having, mental crises. It's about not getting to that point. So I love that it's going to be like injury case management for your mental health because that's super important. It really is. So again, go Axiom for having some groundbreaking ideas.
It's extremely important, and I know that growing up, mental health wasn't necessarily talked about by
Oh my God,
people
no, you
outside
kept
of
it, that
yeah.
was like, you know, you never spoke about that. Like, don't air your family's business anywhere. And if you're upset, then that reflects on the family. And that's just not true.
No, it's not.
It's
Everybody
not
needs to
true.
talk about it. And I
Yeah.
know that a lot of the older crowd people tend to think like TikTok is more of like dancing, young girls dancing videos, that kind of stuff. But really, a lot of the younger generation are tackling these mental health discussions
They are, and
and
I'm
being
so glad
very
to
open
see
about it.
that. I really am so glad to see that. People are more in touch with um, how they're doing and not faking it and being honest about it. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. As
Because
a, you know,
honestly, we're all out here winging it. I don't care how old you are, we're winging it every day.
for sure,
Right?
for sure.
Yeah.
And why not support each other?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes, that's if you're looking for a great company, Axiom is where it's at for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you talking with us, Amy, and I really I'm looking forward to what the future holds for you here.
Yes, thank you, Jason. Enjoy the rest of your time in Canada. I appreciate you having me on today.
All right. We'll
Bye,
see you in a couple.
everybody.
We'll see you in a couple weeks, folks.
Okay, bye-bye.